Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. Happy Thursday. I am Britt Fallon. I am the beauty director at New Beauty Magazine, and I am about to go live with Jennifer Hanway. She is a holistic nutritionist and a New Beauty Brain Trust member, and she is a wealth of knowledge on all things beauty nutrition and supplements and beauty foods. And I just love these types of conversations because I think we're all trying to figure out what vitamins to take, what foods to eat to make our hair, skin, and nails look their best. So we are going to go ahead and go live with Jennifer. And I hope you're in for a great conversation. Thanks everyone for joining us. Hello.
Hi, Britt. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I am so excited to have you. I'm just telling everybody who's tuning in that this is such an awesome conversation because, or a good topic to talk about, because I get endless questions about supplements and collagen peptides, and you're such a great resource. So again, I'll introduce you again. This is Jennifer Hanway. She is a holistic nutritionist and a New Beauty Brain Trust member, brand, and just such a smart resource on all of these things we're going to talk about. So for those who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in this?
Yeah, so going back, so my name's Jennifer Hanway. I'm a holistic nutritionist, originally from London, but I've lived in Boston for the last 7 years. I split my time between I usually split my time between Boston, New York, and London. My job now is I'm a holistic nutritionist. I work one-on-one with clients and patients at our clinic in New York. I do a lot of writing. I used to do a lot of speaking. Way back when, I used to be a professional dancer. So that's kind of my life story going all the way back. And I had an injury. I couldn't perform anymore. So I went into dance teaching and choreography. One of my very random claims to fame is that I once taught Zac Efron how to do the foxtrot. So that's so that's a random claim to fame. But you know, dancers and choreographers don't make a lot of money, so I didn't think that was going to come up. So I went into the fitness industry, and as part of the fitness industry, I started working at London's first bar studio. And I had a mentor there who was a holistic nutritionist and a biosignature modulation practitioner. Now, sidebar to this is that I had always, since I was a kid, struggled with my gut health to the point where I'd been in hospital, I'd been put on a morphine drip, you know, the whole thing. And the same as in, you know, the same here, conventional medicine had no answers for me. So as, you know, fate has it, or I don't really believe in fate, but, you know, I ended up working with someone who, and I tried everything, said to me, well, why don't you, I think it was even just like, take a probiotic and cut out dairy. It was something really, really simple.
Yeah.
And that advice pretty much had changed my life, and I'd worked with so many doctors and experts and no one had ever mentioned gut health or diet. So I was like, wow, if I can feel like this, I want to know more so I can feel even better, but I want to help other people as well. You know, I was in the fitness industry and I was working all hours, and I was one of those people that looked healthy on the outside but certainly wasn't on the inside, and it was all smoke and mirrors. So I dove deep, I retrained, I re-educated, I went back to school. 7 years ago, I moved to Boston, got married, been here ever since. And that's kind of how I got into nutrition. And then 3 years ago, I was the nutritionist on a health retreat in Switzerland. And one of our wonderful guests was Dr. Julie Rusak, who I know you know very well. And we did some sessions together, and she came to some of my workshops, and she said, I've been looking for someone to partner in wellness in New York. I can't find anyone. Would you be interested? And I was like, absolutely, sign me up. Let's go. So we've been working together ever since.
So on that note, I think it's so cool what you do, and we love Dr. Rusek. And you know, I think when people go to dermatologists, they expect to get advice on their skin. Well, sometimes hair and nails as well, things like that. But nutrition plays a major role in all of those things.
Yeah.
So if you go to a dermatologist, and oftentimes they recommend you see a nutritionist anyway. So the fact that you're already partnered up with somebody as esteemed as Dr. Rusick, it's like, it's a fantastic, collaboration, and it makes perfect sense. I think that everybody who's listening, if you do go to a dermatologist, if they recommend that for you, don't think they're just trying to sell you, or
not at all.
Really imperative. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot better. The conversation between skin health and internal health and gut health and diet is so much better even now than it was maybe 5 to 10 years ago. So I think even if your dermatologist is having the conversation with you about your skin health and your gut health, like, that is a dermatologist to keep hold of. Yeah.
Yeah. So you, a big part of your job is creating these one-on-one programs that your clients come to, and you have different programs for treating things like improving things like gut health, weight loss. So can you talk a little bit about these programs? Like, I think that there are a lot more people interested in these nowadays, especially because most of it can be done virtually.
Yeah.
So who are good candidates for these programs, and how does it work?
Yeah, so I have kind of two sides to my business that way. So I have the online programs, and then I have where I work privately with clients one-to-one. And I really started, the first program I started with was my gut healing program, because it was where my heart was, and I knew how life-changing it could be. And the other thing I was seeing was that there was a lot of information on elimination diets, so what not to eat, but nothing really out there on, well, what you can eat. So how you work your way around elimination diet, and then also what are the foods that are actually going to heal your gut. Because I think that's the piece that has been missing for such a long time, and that's the piece that I'm really passionate about, is let's take away the things that are causing you harm, that are setting off an inflammatory response. But let's also deal with that gut dysbiosis. Let's heal that intestinal lining. Let's rebalance the microbiome. And that's where kind of my gut healing program came from. And for years and years and years, I'm so passionate about personalized wellness and personalized nutrition and looking at lab work and working one-to-one. And for years and years, I said, I'm never doing a one-size-fits-all program. And then there was just such a lack of information out there that I was like, I can put together the pieces of this puzzle in a way that can really, really help people who are having issues with gut health in a way that's accessible to all, and I can reach more people. So that's where the gut healing program came from.
Yeah. And so how long did these programs last? And not just yours, but just what have you seen in the market in general? And how is it hard to stay, like, motivated when you're not able, when it's done virtually and you're not that human connection?
Yeah, so I think it really depends on, so my gut healing program is 4 weeks. I really think that's the minimum that someone can stay on a program like that. I have a lean and clean program, which is 8 weeks. So I really think anything kind of 4 weeks is the minimum. But I would also say that depends on the severity of your symptoms. So for me, it's taken me years and years to really heal my gut. But if someone just wanted to be like, okay, I'm coming out of quarantine, I've been eating a lot of banana bread, and I've been drinking one too many bottles of wine, which we've all been doing, then 4 weeks can be a really wonderful reset. So I think it's really thinking about kind of where are you coming from, where's your health, where's your starting point, the results that you want to get. But I would also say that I believe that we should be putting in these gut healing foods in on a regular basis, and we shouldn't be eating the foods that cause us inflammation on a regular basis.
Right. So one of the things I want to talk about today, I think, I know that you're such a wealth of knowledge on gut health. Like, that's a whole nother conversation that we have. But one of the things that I get asked about a lot, and especially our new beauty readers are constantly commenting on this topic, is supplements, and specifically collagen peptides. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's just so much unknown, I think, and to try to help set the record straight. I also did a story in a spring issue called the Collagen Code. And if anybody wants a copy of this, we can, you can DM us and we can send you a digital copy, complimentary. This is a whole deep dive topic, and that's what I want to talk about now.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about, we'll start with, like, what are collagen peptides? How is it different from what we all know as collagen for our skin?
Right. So I think something that I'm trying to educate people in is to think of collagen as a food source rather than a supplement. And the reason being is that we used to get collagen from our diet. So if we think about our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and great-grandparents, and then we would think about stews and soups, and they would use what I call eating nose to tail. So they would eat the whole animal. And what we've really done is we have processed out the collagen from our daily diets. So we don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
We processed out the collagen from our daily diet. So really, when we think about eating animal protein, we think about eating a chicken breast, or we think about eating a piece of fish, and we don't really think about eating all of the bits that people tend to think are just a little bit gross. But that's really where the goodness is, and that's where the collagen comes from. So collagen is connective tissue. It's connective tissue in mammals and in fish. So really, if we kind of switch the conversation from collagen being a supplement to collagen being a food source, then we can kind of see how it can give us those beauty benefits.
Yeah. So if you're looking at a collagen, let's say like a collagen powder jar, see the words bovine or green.
Yep.
I think, you know, it's implied based on what you said, but break it down a little bit more what the sources are. Yeah,
there's so much terminology out there, and I also think that sometimes terminology is deliberately marketed to bamboozle us. So we're like, oh, this has got a ton of long words in it, it must be good for me. So really kind of breaking it down simply, marine collagen comes from the connective tissue and skin of fish, and then bovine collagen comes from the connective tissue of cows.
Yes. So if you are someone who doesn't eat meat, you should go for the main sources, right?
So let's talk about kind of the two different types of collagen. So with a marine collagen or a bovine collagen, just really a couple of things that you want to think about are the sourcing of it. So just like we really want to think about the sourcing of our meat, and we want to be eating organic, grass-fed, wild-caught, etc., etc., the same thing with our collagen. Again, we're thinking of collagen as that food source, but we really should be thinking in terms of our supplements of that kind of quality as well. Something to think about is that our bovine collagen should always come from grass-fed cows, because we are what we ate. So if you're having a very healthy diet and you're having your pasture-raised beef, you want to make sure that your collagen is coming from that same kind of source. And then just something about marine collagen, when we look at what we call bioavailability, marine collagen is actually the type of collagen that our body can use most easily. So it's most easily absorbable. So let's talk about vegan collagen and collagen for vegans and plant-based diets. The important thing to think about is that collagen is made from connective tissue, okay? And plants do not have that connective tissue. They're made very, very differently. So plants are made from starch and animals are made from protein. So really there is no such thing as a vegan collagen. What vegans and people who eat a plant-based diet can do, however, is they can boost their diet with certain things to help their natural collagen formation. So when you take a collagen supplement, what that does is we very easily turn the collagen that we get from collagen peptides into collagen in the skin. However, all collagen is made of amino acids. Yeah. So collagen supplements give us the amino acids that help make collagen in the skin. Proteins, any kind of proteins, whether they're animal proteins or plant proteins, give us the building blocks for that collagen. So there's a couple of other steps when we think about foods that boost natural collagen as opposed to eating the collagen, if that makes sense.
Yes. So, you know, when I was doing research for this story, I learned that, you know, we need that protein to help build the collagen. And many Americans are protein deficient. So how, you know, when you see some of these collagen supplements, it'll say like with 10 grams of protein or with 10 grams of protein. So how much protein do we need in a day for healthy collagen production?
Yeah, so this is where I would even take a step back. And I often say that we aren't just what we eat, we are what we absorb. Right. So we could be having what we would consider a high protein diet, But if our body is not able to break that down, to digest it, and then to use it for that tissue growth and repair, then it really doesn't matter what we're eating. So we really want to think about, first of all, how are we digesting that food? And this is where there's that huge link between gut health and skin health. And there's that wonderful kind of side effect that my gut healing clients were having. They were like, oh, you know, my digestion's great, I feel great, my energy levels are great, but my skin, hair, and nails have gone bananas, which is a good thing. So we really want to think about, are we breaking that? Are we using that protein? Are we able to digest it? Are we breaking it down and using it again for repair? And then we want to be thinking about how much we're having in the different sources. So I say for most of my female clients, we should be aiming anywhere between 80 to 120 grams a day.
Wow. Okay. So these peptides, they're not giving you that much protein, right?
Right. So if you're taking a collagen supplement, so you're taking a pill or a capsule, there's not going to be a lot of collagen in there. So I say to do a collagen peptide, which is just like a protein powder. I'd love my clients to have that in a smoothie in the mornings, or have it in their coffee or their matcha latte. And that way you're getting a real good boost of that protein. And again, if you think of it as a really easily digestible, healthy protein source rather than the supplement, that's where I want people to think of collagen.
Okay. And the question, which is actually something we bring up too, thoughts on use of collagen topically, hydrolyzed collagen. So that's kind of a separate conversation, skincare part of it. But the word hydrolyzed, can you explain what that means? Because that is a word that we see on all of these peptide supplement labels. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's the process of breaking down the collagen.
Exactly. So you have to think about that collagen in its raw form. And at the end of the day, it does have to go through a processing to become into that powder or in your supplement. So that's just what that hydrolyzed word means.
Okay. And then in terms of collagen topically, so that is a completely different, do they use hydrolysis for breaking down the collagen?
I think you would have to. I have to say that that's not my area of expertise. I do know, I have read that collagen in skincare products is too big to get into the skin. And also that's not how digestion and formation works.
Yeah. And so in beauty, I can also chime in on that a little bit, and we can keep the conversation focused on internal collagen, but typically with collagen molecules in skincare formulations, if you see a skincare product that says it has collagen in it, it says it has collagen stimulating ingredients in it, like you know, vitamin C and peptides and things like that. So basically, that's why collagen stimulating fillers are so popular, because that's really the only way to get that plumping effect. You're not going to get that from applying collagen topically to your skin.
And again, the same thing when we talk about if something is labeled as a vegan collagen, it's not vegan collagen. It just contains proteins, amino acids, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants that can help boost collagen formation.
Yeah. So in terms of the appropriate dosage of collagen peptides, what do you look at?
So personally, I have collagen every day. I have about 20 grams of collagen in my breakfast smoothie because I look at it as that's my protein source. So I'm not necessarily looking at it as, oh, it's with my supplements, it's with my multivitamin and my probiotic. I go, oh, this is the protein source that I'm going to have at breakfast. And there really is no evidence that you can have too much protein, too much collagen, because again, it is that protein food source rather than a supplement.
So if you have your collagen peptides in the morning and your protein source, but some collagen peptide products only provide 10 milligrams, 10 grams.
Yeah.
So to get to that other 100 that you need, so how do people that are eating plant-based diets reach that number?
Yeah, so again, it's just thinking about that. Although consuming collagen is the quickest way to get collagen in your body, we still make collagen from amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein.
Mm-hmm.
So all we need to think about is, where are these people that eat a vegan diet or a plant-based diet, and I work with a ton of clients who are vegans, where are they going to get that protein from? So it's really thinking about, where are my good plant-based sources of protein? So I personally love hemp seeds. I think they're a wonderful source. Any of the beans, your lentils, your quinoa, tofu and tempeh. Tempeh is another one of my favorites. So just making sure that you're getting your protein in that way, and then really making sure that you also have the cofactors that help make protein. So you're making sure that you've got your ton of antioxidants, your vitamin C, all of your minerals, and then that way you're giving your body the tools to make the collagen.
Okay, that makes sense. So another thing is that I think people are a lot of confusion about the types of supplement, because collagen peptides now come in waters, powders,
Everything, right?
chocolate. You know, you're getting everything. So, what do you prefer as the best delivery system for the collagen peptides, and what are your thoughts on different types?
So again, I like to just do a really clean, great quality, either marine or bovine collagen, and I like to have it in the powder form. That's the easiest form that my body is going to absorb. I know that kind of I'm going to put a big scoop in my smoothie and I'm going to get my 20 grams of collagen for the day. So that's kind of where I would go from. In terms of supplements, so we could look at kind of capsules and pills and things. That would be my second choice. But as you say, there's not really that much collagen in them. So again, we want to think collagen as a food source rather than a supplement. And then adding them into waters and chocolate and all of that kind of thing, they're not going to be as effective as if you have them in that powdered form, but they're still great ways of doing it. I would just think about, and especially in terms of something like a gummy, I would think, well, what else is in that? And there's a reason why these gummies taste so delicious, is because they're mostly sugar.
Yeah. You know, in my story, I did recommend has a new gummy out, and we recommend that because, you know, for me, I'm a snacker.
Yeah.
I like to have some little candy thing I can do at 3 p.m. And so instead of reaching for candy, I'll just have 2 of the gummies.
Yep.
And it's not a perfect solution, but it's a good way to like trick my mind, you know, that I had something better of licorice.
Exactly. And as long as you're not relying on that as your main form of collagen or form of protein, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. My favorite trick in that kind of vein is the Sakara beauty chocolates.
Yes.
Right?
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Those are like great to have on your desk.
Yeah.
Or like somebody who needs that little sweet fix.
Yeah.
So some people don't like to talk about any brands that they like, but we are seeing some questions about brands. So
yeah.
Somebody's asking about Vital Protein, which I personally love, and also Skin-Aid. Skin-Aid is really big in the UK. I think some of the girls use it. So what are your thoughts on those methods?
Yeah, so I've actually worked with the guys at Skin-Aid before. They sponsored one of our retreats in Switzerland. I love their product. When I'm back over there, I work with their PR team to send it to my clients over there. So Skin-Aid is a really, really great one. I also love Vital Proteins. My favorite is a company called New Chapter. Their processing is very, very clean. Their sourcing is very, very clean. They also have a fantastic, one of the issues with plant-based protein powders can be very, very challenging to digest. They have a mung bean protein, which comes with its own digestive enzyme. So if my vegan or plant-based clients are looking to up their protein, that's something that I recommend as well.
Okay, and can you order those online?
You can order all of those online, yeah.
Okay. You said New Chapter?
New Chapter, yeah.
Maria is asking how many scoops a day, and this just varies based on what the table recommends, right?
Exactly. So you would just go and look at the nutritional panel and look at the serving size, and it might say 1 scoop is 20 grams, or it might say 1 scoop is 10 grams. And I would say that if you're using that as your source of protein in your breakfast, you want to have at least 20 grams.
Okay. So if somebody is not done with collagen peptide, powder or something, what foods can they find collagen-rich nutrients and sources in just in their diet?
Yeah, so again, collagen only comes in collagen, but one of the food forms that we can take is bone broth is a really, really great one. So that's a rich source of collagen and glycine, which is one of the amino acids that helps make collagen in the skin. Otherwise, we're just looking at protein-rich foods. So again, it's thinking about those building blocks of collagen formation and then making sure that we're having those protein-rich foods in our diet. And again, having that balanced diet, making sure you're having all of those cofactors that help your body make collagen.
Okay. So what about, I know I hear a lot about citrus fruits and leafy greens.
Mm-hmm.
So what are those doing for your collagen?
So when we think about collagen formation, so this is the thing in terms of when we think about supplements or we think about adding one thing into our diet, really what I use the word holistic for in my job title is we're thinking about all of the things.
Right.
So even if I just take in my collagen peptides in my morning smoothie and then the rest of my day looks like junk food, my skin's not going to be able to use that for collagen formation and repair because it doesn't have all of the other bits and pieces. So it's like a recipe. So when we have things like our leafy greens, we know that those are really wonderful, rich sources of vitamin C and antioxidants. They're also high in minerals, and all of those things need to come together to help, we call them cofactors, to help that collagen formation.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, if you're just eating McDonald's twice a day and then throwing a scoop of collagen peptides in your morning smoothie, it's not going to do anything, right?
It's not going to do anything. If it did, my job would be a lot easier, but it's not going to do anything. And the other thing that we need to think about is that we often talk in terms of collagen formation and how do we build new collagen, but we also need to think about protecting the collagen that we have. And again, we do that through diet, but we also know that when we are super stressed out, that's going to cause our body to be in a catabolic state, and that's going to break things down as well. So that's why we often see someone's been through a stressful event and they come out the other side of it. We often see that they have aged quite quickly because their bodies are breaking things down. So it's not just thinking about how do we rebuild, it's thinking about how we protect the collagen that we have as well.
So one of the things, there's a question here about what is good for hair thinning. And one of the things we see on collagen labels and marketing is, grows hair, boosts hair, grows hair, thinning hair. So how does the collagen work in the body to address hair specifically?
Yeah, so again, we've got to think about what the hair, skin, and nails are all made of, those same basic building blocks. But what I will say is that we do need to even go back a few more steps and find out why hair is thinning. Find out why we may be having skin issues, find out why we may be having, our nails splitting and breaking. Really, this is why I love to work one-to-one with clients. This is why I love to partner with Dr. Rusak, because we want to take that back and go downstream and downstream and downstream and find out why is that happening, so we can prevent it in the first place. Then we can build a diet full of these wonderful foods and supplements that help with those things. So I'd say specifically in terms of hair thinning, what I'm looking at is I'm going to be looking at your thyroid function and your endocrine function.
Right.
So whilst we can do all of these supplements and those things are wonderful, how do we really go downstream? How do we look at what's happening in your body to find out kind of where we go from there?
So something that I asked earlier, I just was reminded of it when you were endocrine. So if someone wants to find out their protein levels, can you figure that out with a blood test?
So a blood test is not going to show you the amount of protein in your body. So there are a few ways that you can do that. You can do, really we're looking at body composition. So body composition is basically your lean muscle mass to your body fat ratio. So that's kind of really the technical way of how we find that out. But it's not easy to do. It's either caliper testing or it's, lots of different kind of testing that they use in sports science. Okay. So what I'm really looking at is how strong are you? How well do you recover from being in the gym? How do your clothes fit? How youthful do you look? So those are kind of external things that I can see. But also I love to look at lab work and look at blood work, and then I'm looking at inflammation levels, I'm looking at blood glucose, because all of those things inform me how well you break down protein and how well you're assimilating it as well.
Okay. So if somebody, how long after starting to take collagen peptides should you wait before you should expect to see some sort of result? And is the result typically maybe like stronger nails would be the first thing you notice? What does that look like?
I think for everybody it's different. And again, it's really what are you adding collagen protein? What kind of diet are you adding collagen protein to? So what I'm really going to think about is how do I build a diet for people that is low in processed foods, that's high in great protein, that's high in fruits and veggies, that's high in great fats. That's where I'm going to start first, because I can't out supplement a bad diet, and people love to. But you just can't do it. So really I'm going to work on the basics, and then once I've worked on the basics, then we can start adding in all of the fun things, which is the collagen and the supplements. And I really would say that people start to see, if their base diet is good, they start to see results in about 2 weeks, and it's different for different people.
Okay. But if you have a healthy foundation, you can see results that quickly. I think it was like 30 days. I feel like I heard something somewhere that, you need that whole month to program your body when you start taking a new vitamin.
Yeah. So if you're really starting, and I always say to people that things like supplements and superfoods and anything like that, that's really the last 2% of what you should be doing. We really want to make sure that your gut is healthy, that you're absorbing your foods. We're looking at lab work, we're looking at all of those things. So we're building that healthy diet. And then the rest of it is 2%. And we have to think that our cells turn over, our body turns over so quickly. Our oldest blood cell is 3 months old. So we're turning over that quickly. So if our body is efficient at breaking things down and assimilating, then yes, we can see a difference in 2 weeks' time.
Okay. So, something, I've interviewed a lot of doctors and asked a lot of questions about collagen peptides, and there's a lot of skepticism out there about whether they work and is it all hype. So in your professional opinion, where does that really rooted skepticism come from?
I think it's thinking, when we think of collagen as a supplement versus when we think of collagen as a food. So really we think of collagen as it's just something that we've processed out of our diet. And also we have to think that collagen is one of our most abundant proteins in our body. So when we think of collagen outside of us, that's, I think, where the skepticism comes in. And I'm a huge fan of healthy skepticism. I really think that you need to sit and go through the research. But when we think of collagen as something outside of us, that's where the skepticism comes in. When we really think that as human beings, a huge part of our physical makeup is collagen, that's where I think we can kind of put our little bit more common sense heads on and go, oh, well, I know that I need to have protein in my diet to build protein in my body. It's the same thing with collagen. So it's just switching that focus, I think.
Okay. And somebody asking, should you drink any alcohol on this diet or sustain for a period of time, and for how long? I think that's an interesting question of how alcohol affects, like if you're drinking in moderation, how does that affect the intake of these new nutrients into your body?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I always try and meet my clients where they're at. So, the things that I hear is like, please don't take away my cheese, please don't take away my coffee, please don't take away my alcohol. So whilst I would love to, I'm a huge fan of a glass of red wine or a glass of champagne myself. So whilst I would love to say that alcohol doesn't have any negative effects on health, it does. But we can kind of look at that on a continuum, and I think that's where everybody should be with their health. So for something like, you always want to go something low sugar, you want to go something organic. So as I say, a great glass of antioxidant rich red wine, a glass of low sugar champagne, something like that. But just also know that the more, when I'm asking people to be on the gut healing program, I say if you can avoid alcohol for 4 weeks, that would be great. The reason being is that we have to think about what we use alcohol for. So we use alcohol to kill bacteria, and we want to replenish the bacteria in our gut. And the other thing is that alcohol does stop us from absorbing all of the nutrients from our food.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And to be honest, if you're really going to give it a go, you want to make sure that you know exactly what's going to be the results, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Makes sense. So someone's asking, does saw palmetto role with collagen?
It's not something that I know whether clinically would have any benefits or not. Just kind of putting my biology hat on, yes, but it wouldn't be kind of in my top 3 collagen boosting supplements.
Okay. Someone is asking, how about iron? Is there a magic pill? Do you recommend anything?
Was that iron deficiency?
I said, how about iron and energy? Is there a
Okay.
magic pill?
Is there a magic pill? There's no such thing as a magic pill. I wish there was. So what I would say in terms of iron is whenever someone asks me, should I take this supplement or that supplement, my answer is kind of frustrating, and it's always, it depends. And the reason being is that I'd like to know where someone's starting off from. So if I use vitamin D as an example, you know, vitamin D is huge in the media at the moment because of its immune boosting benefits. So someone might say to me, should I take vitamin D or should I take iron? And really what I want to see is I want to see their lab work to see where they're starting from.
Okay.
So that would kind of be number one. And then I also want to put together the pieces of the puzzle of, if they have low iron, what type of low iron is that? Is that coming from dietary sources? All of those bits and pieces of the puzzle. So what I would just say, a long form answer is to find out where you're at with your iron status first of all and supplement accordingly to that. My short form answer would be to say that yes, if you are low energy, it could be iron related, it could be deficiency, and that liquid iron supplements are much, much better for you than a kind of capsule iron supplement.
Okay, and why is that? Just because of the way it's digested?
Exactly, it's the way it's digested. So we often see if someone is low in iron, an iron supplement can actually cause them GI distress, but a liquid iron is much easier to absorb.
So I actually have a question about that now. I've been wanting to ask somebody, and I'm just going to use this platform to ask.
Go for it.
So in terms of capsules, do they, what they're wrapped in really affects how you digest them, right? So,
yes.
But I'm still seeing very modern come out that are these really rock solid hard pills.
Yeah.
How is that different? Does it depend on what the nutrient is?
So it more depends on a person's, let's say, digestive ability. Okay. So it's funny, when I start my gut healing program with people, I think they expect me to say, like, give them these huge handfuls of supplements and say, kind of, here you go. And what I actually do with gut healing is that we actually keep the number of supplements very, very low. Because 2 things. One, if you're not absorbing your food and breaking down your food, you're not going to be able to break down these capsules. And 2, they could actually be causing your digestive system a little bit more of a challenge than they need to. So when I first start with someone, I love to use things like liquid supplements or powder supplements or even topical supplements. I'm a huge fan of topical magnesium, so topical or transdermal. So yes, I think there can be a big issue when we look at these supplements and they're like these huge supplements and they're in these hard plastic casing. It's another reason why I love new chapter supplements is that they're actually fermented, and the fermented process actually helps them break down. So what I would say is just think about the types of supplement that you're having, and if you're taking a fish oil, maybe take a fish oil liquid rather than a capsule. If you want to up your magnesium, try transdermal. If you want to take an iron supplement, take a liquid.
How does the transdermal magnesium work? Is it a patch?
So it's you can do patches, but it's a cream, and it's one of the magnesium is one of my if you can have a favorite mineral, magnesium is one of my favorite minerals. It's something that we're very, very low in our diets. So transdermal magnesium, I just use a magnesium lotion. It goes underneath my knees and the inside of my elbows where the skin is thinner, and that's another great way of getting it in, and it doesn't have to go through the digestive system. And
magnesium is great for stress, right?
Magnesium is used for over 300 metabolic processes in the body. And one of the reasons why we link magnesium and stress is when we're stressed out, we produce more of the hormone cortisol. Now, when we're talking about collagen, we want to keep our cortisol low because cortisol is kind of destructive to the body. And when we make cortisol, cortisol steals magnesium from other things. So when we're super stressed out, we need more magnesium. So often people will ask me, if I was to do a top 5 supplements, magnesium would definitely be in my top 5 supplements.
Okay. What would your other one?
Oh, so if I'm looking at collagen as a supplement, it would be collagen. I think everybody should be taking a really great multivitamin as an insurance policy. We just don't have vitamin and mineral rich foods anymore. We have so many external stressors, so we should be taking a good multivitamin. I would say we want to be taking a good quality probiotic. Vitamin D. I do like to see people's vitamin D status first, but I haven't met anyone on the East Coast or in London that has even like normal levels of vitamin D. I say that as the heavens have just started opening here and it's pouring with rain. So I would do a good a probiotic, I would do a magnesium, I would do a D, I would do a vitamin D, and then I'd probably do a fish oil.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty great. I mean, I've seen actually Sakara Life just came out with a supplement pack called the Fat Fit.
Yeah.
And it include like all of the things that you just said in like, it's like 6 pills a day. I've been taking them for almost a month and I'm really enjoying them.
Great.
Yeah. So, I mean, that makes it easy too. I love when companies, they're just trying to make it easier on us because they know that we're just so busy. It's easy to forget to take care of ourselves.
Right.
But having everything in these one and done, kind of throw it in your purse.
Exactly. And I think that's another really important piece of the puzzle. And I'm really glad that companies are starting to educate people on this, is that no supplement or vitamin or mineral or even food works in isolation in the body. Yeah. So everything is so synergistic. So this is why I'm saying that, well, we might have a high protein diet, we might take our collagen peptides, but we really need those antioxidants. We need those minerals to help the collagen formation happen, because nothing works synergistically in the body. And I know we talked about biotin, and I think
I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah. So I think one of the things about when we think about in terms of what I call letter vitamins, we have to know that none of these things work on their own in the bodies. So really, when we think about biotin, biotin is one of our B vitamins, and there's a reason why we often think of a B vitamin complex, is that the B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, they all work together in the body. So really, when we take there are some things that we know that everybody's low in. Vitamin D is one thing, magnesium is another thing, but I would be really cautious of taking just one type of one letter vitamin until you know if you are deficient in that, because then what that does is that upsets the balance of everything else.
That's what I was wondering too. If you take a daily vitamin, multivitamin that has all these things in it, aren't there certain vitamins that you can only absorb? Like vitamin C, once you get too much, it doesn't do anything with it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the water soluble vitamins. So the easiest way to think of it is A, D, E, and K. Those are fat soluble. Everything else is water soluble. So yes, the words that we hear all of the time is expensive P, and that's basically because if we're having too much of a vitamin and our body can't absorb it, or we're having too much, we're just going to pee it out.
Yeah. So speaking back about biotin, I took a really popular biotin supplement. It was a gummy. It was a few years ago, and I took it for a few days, and then I broke out in this like itching fit. And a couple of our other coworkers had the same thing happen to them. Do certain people reject biotin in that way?
I think this is the issue with that kind of one single letter supplement, is that if you don't know what your levels are in the body to start with, and you supplement with a high dose of just one thing, it's going to knock everything off. So in that case, if that was one of my clients, what I would say to them is, okay, nothing to panic about, but let's get you to your PCP and let's find out, because that may be a sign that something else is in balance in the body.
Okay.
But number one is to stop taking it if you're having a reaction to it.
Okay. And if you had to recommend your top 3 foods to work into your diet for purposes,
okay,
better skin, better hair, the whole gamut, what would you say they would be?
Okay, so if I was allowed to say 4, I would say collagen. Okay, so number 1 would be collagen peptides. Then I would do, it's really hard. I would probably do leafy greens as my next one, because there's basically nothing that a leafy green can't fix. They're wonderful sources of antioxidants, of vitamins, of minerals. They're wonderful for detoxification and digestion. You can eat a ton of them. There's something that I call bang for your buck foods, which is how many nutrients does it have versus how many calories. So I would do collagen peptides, I would do leafy greens, I would do avocado, and then I would do dark chocolate.
Wow. Okay. So dark chocolate, if you eat it in moderation, it really have benefits in it.
Yeah, so it's one of our most rich sources of phytonutrients and antioxidants. So especially if you look for something that's like 85% or above, you want to go organic, make sure it's low sugar. There's actually a company called Montezuma's that does 100% dark chocolates. So if you don't have necessarily that sweet tooth and you like those bitter foods, then that's wonderful, and that's something that you can have every day. It's also really, really high in magnesium. So there's a couple of reasons why chocolate's great for stress as well.
So how much do you have a day? Like, are the ones that come in like squares and you can just like break off a square?
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
So I would say, I mean, if it's something that is sugar-free, if it doesn't have any added sugar, then, you know, a half a bar, depending on how many other calories that you're having in your diet. If it does have added sugar, then you want to go a little bit less. But it's definitely something that, yeah, most of the bars kind of come in squares, and you could definitely have 2 squares of that.
Okay. And I think my last question for you is about coffee. I get this question a lot. It's not something that I asked you about ahead of time, but I'm just really curious. And you mentioned coffee earlier, but there have been so many conflicting things about coffee. One day it's like, oh, 4 cups is really healthy for you. The next day it's like, coffee can cause inflammation. I'm just wondering, from your professional opinion, what you think of coffee.
Yeah, so you can fight both sides of the arguments on coffee, and we can fight both sides of that argument with clinical studies on coffee. So I would say the only people that I really take coffee away from are people that have huge issues with thyroid issues and cortisol issues. Because what coffee does, one of the buzzes that coffee gives us is that it increases our cortisol levels, which is that energy buzz. But if you do have thyroid issues, if you have poor thyroid function or you have high cortisol, then you probably want to lower your caffeine intake. And then just the other things are thinking about the type of coffee. So coffee is one of our most GMO sprayed crops in the world. So we really want to be thinking about an organic coffee, and then we want to be thinking about a low acid coffee as well. And then in that case, then I'm like, great, coffee can be a great addition to a healthy diet. You want to think about a caffeine curfew so it doesn't affect your sleep. But really, again, it's quality of coffee that's important.
So in terms of a caffeine curfew, I love that term. What do you recommend your being the cutoff in a day?
Yeah. So we often find that, so reasons why we talk about a caffeine curfew is that we have something called a cortisol curve. And we never want to think of cortisol in terms of high and low. It has to be high and low at certain points in the day. So in the morning, we want our cortisol to be higher, so it gives us energy and mental cognition. And in the evening, we want it to be low, so we can help us go to sleep. What we want to think about is that coffee spikes that cortisol level, which means that it's going to stop us from sleeping in the evening. Especially if you're the type of person who, like, you fall asleep on the couch watching Netflix at like 9:30, and then you go to bed, and the minute that your head hits the pillow, you're wide awake and thinking. That's probably when you need to bring your caffeine curfew back. So I'd say for most people, lunchtime really is that absolute cutoff. But how we metabolize coffee and caffeine is genetic. So it's really personal. I know that I can have a coffee at lunchtime and be fine. My husband is like 10 o'clock in the morning is his cutoff.
Yeah, but if I have it about noon or 1, then it affects my whole evening. Yeah. Somebody's asking, how do you find out the acid level in your coffee?
So if we're going to talk brands, what I will say is, being on the East Coast and being in Boston, unfortunately, Dunkin' Donuts is not low acid. Starbucks is not low acid either. There's a company that I love. They're called Pure Roast, and they're organic and they're low acid. So if a coffee is low acid, it will mostly say it on the label.
Okay. Oh, interesting. And what about cold brew?
That's so cold brew is pretty much the worst. So that's very, so that's, I mean, again, you could go down a low acid cold brew.
Okay.
But if we think about how cold brew is made, and you're getting it takes a lot longer to make, so you're getting a lot more acid in it. So I would say if you are going to do cold brew, that's when you need to lower the acid as well.
Interesting, because I thought when it was hot, it was more acidic.
No, it's nothing to do with the temperature. It's about the roast of the bean and how long that they're roasted for, and the type of bean as well.
Okay, interesting. So interesting. Talking for days. Well, is there anything that I left out anything that's like along the conversation of beauty supplements that you want to mention? Any hacks or advice you give to your clients that you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think really it's about, taking as many steps back as you're willing to take will get you better results. And what I mean by that is go and get your annual physical and find out where you're starting from. Build your diet and your supplement regime around that. Don't think that you can out supplement a bad diet. Supplements and superfoods are wonderful. They're so much fun, but you really can't beat having a diet full of, fiber-rich veggies and great quality proteins, great fats, and then the supplements are just the bonus.
Yeah. You know what I will add on that is that I started doing my yearly physical when I was like in my mid to late 20s. And I went in and I think I started when I was like 27. And the doctor said to me, "What, you're here for your physical? Like, why?" And I was like, because I get it as part of my insurance and I'd really like to do blood work.
Right?
And she was so taken aback that someone my age was interested in their health in that way. And I just want to throw that out there because it is part of most insurance plans, yearly wellness visit. And I will tell you how fascinating it is to be able to see your results year after year, based on how your life changes,
right,
and your diet changes. And so I'm just throwing that out there for people. I used to be really scared of needles and blood work, and then when I started seeing it as such an inside look at my body and my health, it became like I overcame it.
Yeah,
because I'm so fascinated.
And I'm so glad, we have to think about how often we service our cars.
Right.
Okay. And cars are so much easier to fix if something goes wrong. And we really, I'm a huge fan in, preventative medicine is where we want to be. And that's not really where we are with our health system here. And that's one of the things that I love to do is I love to help my clients talk to their PCP and help them kind of navigate that way, because yes, most PCPs are like, well, why do you want to know? And you're like, well, this is my body and my health. Yeah. But that's also one of the wonderful things that we do at Dr. Rusak's clinic is that we can do, and that's one of the wonderful things about working with a doctor is that we can requisition all of that lab work and more. And we're looking beyond the basic panels. And then we're also looking at food sensitivities and heavy metals and mineral status. So I really just recommend people to just think about how much we service our cars and our phones and everything else, yet our body is the last thing that we kind of think about taking care of.
Yeah, I love that. I love leaving on that note. And yes, we will put this on New Beauty's IGTV. So if you want to, refer to it later or tune in at a later time, miss the beginning, please do. Jennifer is such a incredible resource for this information. And someone else is asking, how do we get a copy of Digital Beauty? If you just send us a DM, these messages, we will send you a complimentary digital copy. Right as soon as you message us, we will get that to you. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And Jenny, can you tell us where Dr. Rusak's clinic is located in case anybody is in the New York area and wants to visit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're based on the Upper East Side, but we're actually now able to do our whole wellness program virtually. So we're working with someone this afternoon. So we're doing our initial consultation via a telehealth platform, and then we can even do the blood work, the part that we do in office. We send you the testing kit. We tell you how to do that. You send it back to us. So and then Dr. Rusak can requisition blood work. So it's a wonderful thing that we can do because now people don't have to come into the clinic, and also it just means that we can work with you wherever you are in the country.
Right. That's wonderful. And is there a website off the top of your head that you know for her website?
It's on the website. The best email address would be gabrielle@rusakdermatology.com.
And
Or
that's
they can come to you, find me online. I'm everywhere at Jennifer Hanway, and I can put them in touch with Gabby.
okay. And that's RSA, just
You've
in
got
case
it.
you're wondering.
Yeah. Or they can just message me, and I can get everyone set up.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This is
Thank
cool.
you.
Everybody for tuning in today. We will be back on tomorrow with another live segment. My colleague Tatiana will be on. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Jen. And
Thank you, Brett.
hope everyone stays safe and well.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.